is so talented, but you look through this entire lineup, and it is just riddled with power, with high averages. This team 1 through 9 is the most dangerous offense in the entire country.
Tiare Jennings first up, a freshman who has been outstanding in this tournament, hitting .491 to lead the #1 team in the nation. And Bailey Lang found success early against these Oklahoma hitters yesterday. Oklahoma had to score their runs in the bottom of the 5th inning. It took them that long to figure her out.
I thought Bailey Lang had a really good first 4 innings against Oklahoma. She limited the damage, she trusted her defense, and most importantly, she limited the free passes. That's what got her in trouble against Texas A&M in their games earlier this regional against the Aggies. But she was tighter, more control, more command against the Sooners until a little bit of a breakdown in the 5th inning.
Jennings fouls off another one. You know, we talked to Wichita State head coach Christy Bredbender this morning, and she was going to talk to her pitchers to see who was feeling good because they've all thrown. And I kind of didn't hesitate that it was going to be Bailey Lang in the circle. I mean, she's a senior, she wants it, and she looked pretty good yesterday.
Yeah, without a doubt. They're going to go with their true ace, and that's been Lang this entire season. And you know, she didn't talk about just physically the fatigue that their pitchers might be facing. It was really the mental fatigue. It's hard going up against an offense like the Sooners, where 1 through 9, you cannot take a break. Anyone has the power to hit the ball out of the park. So, in my opinion, that's almost worse than the physical demand of going and pitching here in this kind of regional.
Bailey Lang starts by striking out Tiare Jennings.
A fantastic start for Lang. Goes with that off-speed rise ball up in the zone, away at the numbers, and up and climbing to get Jennings. It's only her 11th strikeout of the entire season. She's got to be happy about that one.
Next up, Jocelyn Allo. As we told you, it doesn't get any easier as you go through this Oklahoma lineup.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Courtney, up for National Player of the Year. She's a top 3 finalist, and there's no doubt why. I mean, her ability to combine her average of .473 with her home run ability is unreal. You see where she is among some of the OU greats right there.
It will drop in front of Bailey Urban, and Jocelyn Allo has a hit. The second batter in this lineup gets on.
You know, Courtney, this typically wouldn't be a hit, but because the depth of the outfield for Wichita State, she hits this one off the end of her barrel. It looks like it's going to be a routine fly out mid-left field, but they're playing up the warning track. Bailey Urban is nowhere near that ball because they have so much respect for Allo's power. They're playing so deep, no chance to get that one.
I mean, we've seen her have some beautiful swings and just shoot it out of the ballpark, so you can't blame them. But she gets on there, and it brings us to Kinsey Hansen. Hansen was the hero of the Big 12 tournament. She was the tournament MVP after not being selected to any Big 12 season awards. How about 5 home runs in 3 games last weekend in that tournament?
Yeah, that'll show them.
Hansen's had a home run in 3 of her last 5 games. Came into the game 8th in the nation in that category. That'll get away from Paragon. Jocelyn Allo in scoring position.
And we've seen early in this game, Lang's looked like her rise ball's been on. Haven't seen the changeup very much. Her fastball just not hitting her spots, hitting the corners very well. It's so important for her to be able to hit the corners to get ahead in the count, because you saw what the chase pitch looks like against Tiare Jennings. It's a tough pitch to hit. It's coming at a different velocity. But that only works if you get the setup pitches correctly.
And now she'll walk Kenzie Hansen.
Bailey Lang throughout this game is going to have to make some adjustments. Not getting that outside corner called, especially that low pitch on the outside corner called to righties. The umpire's zone maybe a little bit tight for her, but she's going to have to find the zone, figure out what pitch she can hit for her strikes, because giving up free passes to this team is just not acceptable.
Brings up another 400-plus hitter in Jada Coleman, 481 on the season. 6 hitters in this lineup for Oklahoma hit over 400.
You know what's interesting, Courtney? I think, you watch Oklahoma and they are so talented from the eye test. They look the part. But I think where some teams saw their weaknesses this season is not in their ability, but in their scheduling. Just didn't play stuff with the schedule early on. Had some issues trying to schedule teams because of COVID. And that's why they've got some inflated numbers.
Harrigan trying to get the runner at third, threw it in front of the bag. No tag, 2 in scoring position now for Jada Coleman.
Great instinct here from Jocelyn Allo to take the extra base on this play. She sees right away, as soon as this ball is bobbled by Harrigan, takes off. Nice smooth slide, really close play over at third. I'd like to see this one again to see if she sneaks in first. And I think she gets that right foot in there just in time.
I'd let advance on the wild pitch as Jada Coleman fouls that off. Coleman, one of 2 freshmen in the top 4 of this batting order. A top 15 finalist for National Freshman of the Year. She was the top recruit in the 2020 class. Riley Buck. Snag. Oklahoma needs 1 win to advance to Supers. It might be a surprise. It was to us. Olivia Raines will pitch in this game with Supers on the line.
And you look at that right there, only 17 innings pitched on the season, just doesn't have a ton of experience, but Oklahoma's going to go with her, and I think the mentality behind that is because she's a down ball pitcher. This is a potent home run hitting offense, so why not throw somebody that can keep the ball really well down in the zone, and she can throw the changeup in any count, and that can be the equalizer when you're facing a powerful team like Wichita State.
Wichita State has not seen her. This is her first start since March 7th of 2020 of last season. Here is the Wichita State starting lineup presented by Capital One. Sydney McKinney, Addison Barnard, and Madison Perrigan, the first 3 hitters in a very potent lineup. They had the 2nd most hits against Oklahoma allowed this season yesterday.
Yeah, the top 3 in this lineup have done most of the damage for Wichita State. We've really seen them come up with a fierce and aggressive mentality at the plate here against the Sooners.
Sydney McKinney up first. She will be aggressive, and Coach Christy Bredbender loves it. She says, if I have to rein her in, that's fine. I'm going to let her go out there and be aggressive in the box because she's so good at it. Lifts the second pitch, some room to drop. That's why she's aggressive. You see what I'm talking about?
Sydney McKinney knows that's not the prettiest hit that she'll ever have, but she'll take it. A little elevation right here on this ball, a little blooper into the outfield, but no communication from the Sooners for somebody to call that off. No diving play to try and attempt to make that catch, so Sydney McKinney is able to pick up a nice double to start this inning off.
And that is her 4th double in this regional. She came into this game in the regional hitting .455, leads us to the freshman, Addison Barnard, the American Rookie of the Year. Look, there's a belief in this team. They set the tone with their bats with McKinney, but all of them, 1 through 9, came in believing they could beat Oklahoma. They got really close yesterday.
And I'm going to be really honest with you. If I'm Wichita State and I see who's out in the circle, someone with a little bit of a lot less experience than their other starters, you don't see G. Juarez, you don't see Shannon Sale, I'm getting excited for the opportunity to try and put runs on the board early and go attack this sophomore with limited experience.
Patty Gasso, in her 27th season, she's got the #1 team in this year's tournament. An interesting move in the circle. But as you said, Kayla, I mean, Wichita State hasn't seen her, though, a lot, so that could be an advantage.
Yeah, they were definitely not scouting Raines when they were planning last night and coming into this ballgame today.
Barnard goes to center, Jada Coleman. You know who set the tone for that mentality coming into this regional? I've got to give it to Madison Paragon. She told everyone, she told the world before they came to Norman that they were going to be tough, that they weren't going to be afraid, and you can see Wichita State, especially just from game 1 when they played Texas A&M, they were locked and ready to go.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, we talked to their coach and Madison prior to this regional, and they said they were a little bit shocked when they saw themselves getting sent to Norman. They thought, based upon their region, they might get sent to an Arkansas, a Missouri, an Oklahoma State, somewhere else. But when they got the 1 seed, they had to quickly rechange their thinking.
Yeah, and she said, we're not scared of OU. Everyone might think, oh, Wichita State doesn't want to go to the #1 seed. Were we expecting it? No. But are we scared? No. We're ready for it.
And that's the mentality you have to have. You know, you get to this point at this time of year where you realize that you have to beat the best of the best if you really want to make a run to the Women's College World Series. So just because you face Oklahoma a little bit sooner rather than later in this tournament doesn't matter. You got to beat them at some point if you want to make your way to OKC.
And they'll have to beat them twice today in order to make it to Supers. Two balls and a strike.
It's a beautiful take right there. And this is where you're going to see Olivia Raines do her job. She's going to try and get hitters to fish at this off speed, but a really nice take right here from Paragon. Knows, because she's the catcher on the opposing team, that that low outside pitch hasn't been called today, so it's a really, really beautiful eye on that pitch.
Keith Kearney behind the plate for this one. Comes back and gets a strike out of it.
And you can see right now the pitch that's been hit for a strike pretty consistently. She's hit it for both strikes in this at-bat as the changeup. She's thrown it 3 times. This Wichita State team's going to see that pitch a lot today.
Paragon, 9 of her last 12 hits have been over the fence. And she'll take her walk. She is the Wichita State career leader in walks. Shockers start off this game with a leadoff double from Sydney McKinney, and now Madison Paragon on with a free pass. Neely Herring up at the plate. Didn't have a hit until last night in the regional against Texas A&M. She went 4 for 4 with a double and an RBI. And she'll take her base. How quickly things change. It's bases loaded, 1 out.
This is why we were all kind of looking at this Oklahoma starting lineup. It's just so interesting to see somebody like Olivia Raines getting the start, and it's not because she doesn't have good stuff. It's because she doesn't have the experience in pitching in games like this. G. Juarez, used to that spotlight. Shannon Sale has experience playing in the regional. So we're going to see how this plays out for Patty Gasso, because you don't want to, even if you are the Sooners, even if your offense is that good, you don't want to dig yourself a hole too early in this ballgame.
Jennifer Rocha out there to talk to Olivia Raines. This has got to be the most pressure that she has faced in the circle in her career. It's a young career, just a sophomore, but Super's on the line.
Yeah, Coach Rocha is having a long conversation with her, really trying to calm her down, give her a game plan that she can go out and attack and be successful. And Patty Gasso is taking the opportunity to talk to the defense, make sure they're ready to go.
Olivia Raines, the Oklahoma Gatorade Player of the Year, made 12 appearances last season in the shortened season. This is her 16th appearance in 2021. She's got bases loaded, 1 out to Bailey Nickerson. Nickerson only has 1 hit in the regional. She's 1 for 9. Nickerson does have a grand slam. It was back on April 11th against Houston. Nickerson, a .313 hitter with the bases loaded this season. To the gap in left center, 1 run across. 2, 3, sliding in, Wichita State on top of #1 Oklahoma.
Nickerson coming up big for the Shockers. Bases loaded. She's only had 1 hit this weekend. But here gets a great pitch right down the middle of the plate. A big mistake right here from Raines, and she capitalizes with a bases clearing double. And I love the aggressiveness early in this game. Send all these runners around. Oklahoma's not ready to make this out of the plate. And Wichita State is able to get 3 on the board here in the first inning.
What a game changer. It starts, though, with Sydney McKinney's leadoff double, a circle to relieve Olivia Raines. It's Alana Feedy. She has only pitched 10 1/3 innings. The last time we saw her was against Georgia on April 20th. And the first pitch is sent out to center field by Riley Buck. One trying to come home. And the tag was made. Lindsay Elam got her.
Well, this is a way right here to get some momentum back if you're Oklahoma. Jada Coleman out in center field does an excellent job of jumping all over this, charging this hard, and coming up with a cannon. Puts that right on a dime to home plate and throwing out the runner at home. It's a big-time play right there from the freshman center fielder. And that's so important. A new pitcher comes in, somebody with less experience than we saw from Raines, and they get the job done.
But Lauren Mills takes this to the wall, so Riley Buck does come across and score. Wichita State is just eating up the Oklahoma pitchers.
First pitch, it's the second time in a row that Wichita State has attacked the first pitch. Mills goes down for this one, little drop ball, and just laces this one past Mendez and right to pick up another run for Wichita State. And Courtney, we talked about the aggressiveness of this team. They get a pitcher that comes in, has little experience, she throws 2 strikes, and they get 2 base hits back to back. And I gotta be really honest with you, I can't imagine why we're not seeing something different from Oklahoma in the circle.
Back to back to back. Kaylee Hecker jumps on it. I mean, they're getting whatever they want at the plate right now.
And I know for Coach Patty Gasso and this Oklahoma team, they understand the power of their offense, but this is regional time. You can't play around. You can't take any chances. And
Oklahoma here in the first inning, it's Nicole May.
Yeah, we saw May yesterday against Wichita State. She's going to throw in the mid-60s. She can hit pretty much all quadrants of the strike zone. She got a nice rise ball, sprinkling a curveball and a change. She can really throw a lot in her arsenal. But, you know, kudos to Wichita State. You know, to me, it's a little bit disrespectful that Oklahoma puts pitchers out that don't have a ton of experience. And Wichita State puts up a 4 spot on them in the first inning. Says, okay, you're going to play around and not start your best pitchers. Well, guess what? We're going to go score 4 runs and waste no time. So you got to love the energy and the seriousness of the Shockers. When they've pulled up to the ballpark today, they were ready to go.
This is Bailey Urban in the 9-hole. Wichita State has 4 hits in a row, one of those a double. 3 of the last 4 at-bats have been just 1 pitch. Look, and we saw Shannon Sale, Angie Juarez pitch against Wichita State. It wasn't like Wichita State was just crushing them. I mean, Oklahoma still came back and won the game.
Yeah, they gave up a few runs. They each gave up a home run in that ball game, but it wasn't like they got crushed. But at the same time, just really interesting mentality here. And, you know, I look at it both ways because for Oklahoma, one of their biggest weaknesses, like we talked about, has been their strength of schedule, not being challenged. Well, you're being challenged, and I think it's so important to put your best out there, to put your best lineup on, to try and go and win, because that's who you're going to use down the road in Super Regionals and in the World Series.
Not a huge cushion against a team like Oklahoma that can swing the bat and swing it well. Grace Lyons will start the second against Bailey Lang.
Yeah, make no mistake, Wichita State's got a 4-run lead, but you cannot take a break with these Sooners. Expect them to come back, and you know what? I guarantee you right now, they're motivated. Their offense knows it's on them to fight their way back in this game.
If you're just tuning into this one, a surprising start in the circle for Oklahoma. It was Olivia Raines, who had only pitched 17 1/3 innings on the season. She was relieved for Alana Beatty, who had pitched just over 10 innings on the season, and Wichita State ate them up. Grace Lyons to right, Addie Barnard under it.
trying to have an open mind on Oklahoma's decision to start some of the more inexperienced pitchers in their roster. I think you plan, if you're Wichita State, for G. Juarez, for Shannon Salen, you plan for them so hard and you watch a lot of film on them, you're prepared. So maybe Oklahoma tries to sneak in a few players that look a lot different, that throw a little bit different, that Wichita State's not expecting. But you know what? Wichita State doesn't care about that. They were ready to go.
And now Oklahoma is facing its largest deficit of the season. Lindsey Elam up right now. She had 2 home runs yesterday against Wichita State. These two teams met in the winners portion of the bracket, and Oklahoma advanced while Wichita State had to beat Texas A&M last night.
And Lindsey Elam is really one of the unsung heroes for this Oklahoma team. She's a captain. She's such a leader for them, not only behind the plate, but Patty Gasso says she's the one that gets this team together, so plays such an important role for the Sooners from a leadership perspective.
And she's hit by a pitch. Let's check in with the studio.
Thanks, Courtney. Phil Murphy here in studio. Jordan Weber in the circle for Missouri. Freezes there on the screen and then freezes a batter. She had a 1-hit shutout yesterday for the Tigers, a no-hitter today against Iowa State. Tigers win 5-0 and advance to face JMU at Supers.
Phil, thank you. We saw JMU go ham, if you will, in their regional. Odyssey Alexander, the GOAT right now for JMU. Mackenzie Donahue. Two on for Oklahoma, the second hit of the afternoon for the Sooners.
Donahue picks up her first hit of the the regional here this weekend, and she's another player that plays an important role. Patty Gasso loves having her in the spot and come up with some really good quality at bats. And you see right there, simple piece of hitting to try and keep this inning going and keep it alive and give Jana Johns an opportunity to do something with a runner in scoring position.
Before this game, remember, Oklahoma only has 2 losses on the season. The largest deficit that the Sooners had faced was 2 runs. That's happened 3 times on the year. They're now down by 4. And Jana Johns is at the plate. She did not have a hit against Wichita State yesterday.
And she got caught on the changeup against Wichita State. Bailey Lang's off speed really challenged Jana Johns in the box. Was way out in front. Didn't see it very well, so wouldn't be shocked if we see Bailey Lang try and sneak in a couple of those here in this at bat.
Jana Johns started out at South Carolina, was a staple for the Gamecocks, started every game there. Shortened season last year, but she hit .302 with 15 RBI and 4 home runs. Patty Gasso told us about Jana Johns when she heard she was available. She talked to a lot of different people. Even South Carolina's head coach Bev Smith said, look, she is an outstanding person. She's so great, a great teammate, and it's the kind of player you want in your dugout.
And really, Patty Gasso does such a good job with that, getting in transfers where she needs, where she has holes. And she saw an opportunity to get a really good third baseman. Jana Johns was a raw third baseman, had a ton of potential as an infielder, has an absolute cannon over there at third base. But like I said, you got to work a little bit harder, fix some mechanics, made her better, and now she's a staple on the defense for the Sooners.
Second hit batter in this inning. And that's the third free pass issued today by Bailey Lang.
This is really the Achilles heel. He's been giving up the free passes, playing a little bit out of control. It's her second hit by pitch of this inning, and we saw quite a few hit by pitches from her on day one of this regional against Texas A&M.
And Nicole Mendez steps up. You start to feel it. She already has a grand slam in the tournament. She did that against Morgan State on Friday.
And this is why you want so badly to be a host at this tournament. You can see Oklahoma coming out of the dugout, getting the fans involved, trying to get some momentum, put the pressure on Wichita State here where they see an opportunity. And Nicole Mendez is clutch. She's a veteran on this team. She's a super senior. She knows what it's like to win a national championship. And on Friday against Morgan State, had the bases loaded, went a little Oppo Bomsky. Just so much explosion, so stinking strong. Went Oppo twice, 2 home runs in that ball game.
And 7 RBI in that game for Nicole Mendez. That was an OU postseason record. So the conversation for Wichita State's defense right now is what, Kayla?
I think they want to try and figure out a way to induce a double play. And having that conversation with the infielders, where are we going to play? Are we going to try and squeeze in to get the fours at home? Or are we going to play back and try and turn the double?
Wow, a .429 average for Mendez with the bases loaded on the season.
Yeah, it looks like they're playing pretty straight up, maybe a pinch in a couple steps. You know, even with a 4-0 lead, they understand how important it is to keep the Sooners off the board and try and get outs where they can, but outs at home to limit run production for the Sooners.
Wichita State lead cut in half.
This is where the free passes will kill you because Oklahoma doesn't use the big home run to put runs on the board here. They go with 2 free passes and 2 singles. Mendez gets something down in the zone, which is what Bailey Lang wants, but powers it through enough to get 2 runs across. And this would have been a really tight play at the plate. Madison Paragon does a good job of making sure she saves that ball from going to the backstop because it would have been 3 runs on a little bit of a wild throw.
And that flips the order to top of the lineup, Tiare Jennings with 2 in scoring position. Jennings has come onto the scene with electricity, hitting .491 coming into this game. Did strike out in her first at bat, but she can make the adjustment. Bounces it to the warning track. Jennings sending 2 more runs home with 1 swing of her bat. So much for the lead. We got a tie game.
This is the confidence that Patty Gasso has in her offense right here. They're in a 4-0 hole. And in this inning, they find a way to answer back, and it's 2 clutch hits from Nicole Mendez and right here from Tiare Jennings to be able to pull this into the gap. And Oklahoma, no doubt, sending Mendez from second, Tiare in safe at second base, and they're getting fired up. This is what the Sooners do, and this is where they'll get you. It's like waking a sleeping giant. Yeah, they're down 4-0, no big deal. We're going to play to our strengths. Our strength is our offense, and we are going to keep being ourselves up at the plate. That's why
And
this
that
team is
just
so
gets you-
strong. They don't press, they don't feel pressure because they're so confident in what they've been able to do. This is the second day in a row that they've seen Bailey Lang. They make great adjustments. They have great communication in the dugout, and the result is 4 runs here.
And now you've got Jocelyn Allo up with a runner in scoring position. She singled in the first inning. Allo, a 2-time All-American. 28 home runs on the year, 78 RBI, and hitting .540 with runners in scoring position.
We've seen what Jocelyn Allo can do at the plate, but on Friday, we saw one of the prettiest home runs. I mean, you can hear it off the bat. She gets all of this pitch. She's got beautiful body positioning, great extension, so much explosion and power, natural power. She doesn't make it look difficult. She's not swinging out of her shoes. She's calm, she's smooth, and just uses the right mechanics to get the maximum amount of power.
Yeah, Lauren Chamberlain, she was pretty good at that too. Jocelyn Allo, Lauren Chamberlain, 2 of the greats in Oklahoma hitting history.
This is a gift right here for Bailey Lang because this is a pitch that's not been called all day long. Has not hit that for a strike. Umpire has not called that for a strike, but she'll take it against Allo.
Full count. Three passes are a problem.
Without a doubt, and you knew that going into Oklahoma. You can't give them anything. The hit by pitches, the free passes, it just doesn't work with the high batting averages they have with runners in scoring position. You keep hearing it. Tiare Jennings, well over 500 with runners in scoring position. Jocelyn Allo, well over 500 with runners in scoring position. And when they're that clutch and that good at doing their jobs, which is being RBI producers, you can't help them out.
2 walks and 2 hit batters by Bailey Lang this afternoon. Oklahoma has scored all 4 of its runs here in the second inning. The 5th inning of this regional that they've plated 4 or more. So a quick word to Kinsey Hansen, who's in the box facing Lang. You see the pitch distribution there for Lang here in this inning. Oklahoma worked her. Smacks it to center. And gets an RBI from it. This offense is unreal.
And this is why Oklahoma's so hard to beat and why they've only lost twice this entire season. Yes, they can hit the home run ball. They are known for that. But hitting singles and doubles in this inning has been the difference maker. And that's so demoralizing for a pitcher. You give up a free pass, they get a base hit, they score from second. Over and over again, we've seen it this inning. And that's so tough to handle because they're doing their job. They're staying on plane with pitches low in the zone. They're not trying to elevate the ball, but they're trying to be very controlled with their barrel control and their extension.
The last 7 batters have reached for Oklahoma, and now Jada Coleman steps in with runners on the corners and 1 out. Oklahoma has scored all of their runs here in the top of the second.
gets off to a little bit of a rough start here with the wild pitch. Dawson Olive does a good job of making sure she gets in there and reacts quickly to that ball. But again, this is what's been hurting Wichita State so much in this inning, is just making simple mistakes. And that's the pressure that you face when you're playing against the Sooners, is that you know that when they feel the momentum change to their side, they take advantage of it.
They just never hesitated. I mean, Oklahoma was down by 4, facing their largest deficit of the season. You look away for a second, they're up by 6.
We knew we were going to see a lot of runs, but here we are, top 2, already 10 have been pushed across. This is not a pitcher's duel today, Courtney.
Has it been a pitcher's duel in any of these games in Norman?
No, that's not.
Quick toss. The American Defensive Player of the Year gets 1. There's 2 outs, but Kinsey Hansen at 3rd.
That's why Hicker's over there at second base. She's got really good range. And we talked to Coach. They play her there on purpose. Their pitchers induce a lot of ground balls to the right side of the infield, and they like Hecker for her range. And she just showed it off against the speedy Jada Coleman.
Grace Lyons up for the 2nd time in this inning. Runner on 3rd and 2 outs. Dug deep. Missed it at the wall. Bring one more run across. Grace Lyons, an RBI double.
Grace Lyons hits this ball very high and very deep, all the way to the warning track, where the communication between Bailey Nickerson and Addison Barnard isn't there, and that's why this ball is dropped. They're playing deep already. We know that. They respect the Oklahoma offense so much, so they know they're playing at the warning track. So that's all about communication. Somebody taking over in the outfield and saying, I'm going to step up and make this play.
The inning extends anymore. Lindsey Elam up for the 2nd time. She was hit by a pitch. Another hit for Oklahoma. Another run across. The floodgates open.
You got to respect so much an offense that responds after their pitchers are in a hole. You can't ask for more than to put up an 8 spot here in the top of the 2nd in response to Wichita State, who's feeling energy, who's feeling that momentum. And Oklahoma just simply trusted their stuff. They didn't press. They did their job. They took advantage of free passes. And here they are with a complete role reversal and being up 4 in this inning now.
And they've done all this with no home runs. Important to note, as they lead the nation in home runs. Mackenzie Donahue up at the plate. She was the first one to get a hit in this inning after Lindsey Elam reached by a hit by a pitch.
I think, Courtney, that might be the more shocking thing that we've seen here in this game so far, is the fact that we haven't seen any home runs yet. Team's just known for it, and they've shown it all weekend long, just how strong and powerful they are, and they're keeping it in the park, but still getting a ton of run production.
Our crew makes a great point. It's only the 2nd inning. It feels like we've been here a long time.
A lot of ball game left. A lot of ball game left.
Free pass for Mackenzie Donahue. How do you get any momentum back? I mean, you got to get out of this inning, but Wichita State deflated right now.
Yeah, this is a tough situation. And they've had experience. They've been run ruled by Oklahoma already this season, so they know what it's like to be in this position, to be in a deep hole. They're going to fight, though. Their season's on the line. They're not just going to roll over. But I think, first and foremost, you just got to get out of this inning. You have to figure out a way to pick up your bats. And that's what both of these teams have done, is rely on their strengths. You know, Patty Gasso and this Oklahoma team made the decision not to start their ace in the circle, and that's fine, because their offense is basically like having another pitcher. But as we move forward in this game, this is all about the offenses. Understanding that what's gotten them to this point, what's got them to the finals of the regional, has been their offense. So they're going to rely on that and continue to push that throughout this ball game for both of these teams.
The ball comes in. You mentioned that first meeting in the regular season. It was back on May 4th between these two, and Oklahoma lit it up then. They won 14-3 in 5 innings. Tiare Jennings went 3 for 4 with a double and 4 RBI, but Grace Green had a pinch hit grand slam in that game. Christy Threadbenner not happy with the strike zone right now. Oh, and they just issued her a warning. Jan John steps back in. It's a 2-2 count coming from Caitlin Bingham. Two on for Janet Johns. Upstairs, and it's a full count. Elam at second and Donahue at first. 2 outs. Jana Johns, foul. Who thought it was going to be spicy?
She got the crowd hyped. They wanted it. They wanted to see the long ball, which is what they have not seen in this game so far. Jana Johns having a nice battle here. 8th pitch of her bat coming.
Instead to walk, to load the bases for, guess who? Nicole Mendez.
I feel like I'm getting deja vu, Courtney, because we've seen her in this position already in this inning. Had another opportunity with the bases loaded earlier here in the second. She came through with a nice base hit to score 2.
Bases loaded. Nicole Mendez hitting .500 with 13 RBI, 2 home runs. Okay then. Look, Nicole Mendez heats up every postseason, and what an opportunity right now. Lindsay Elam at third, Donahue at second, and Janet Johns at first for Mendez. Oklahoma trailed by 4. Pass Bingham. Hecker will make the toss to McKinney to get the runner going to second.
Won national championships multiple times, and this might be the best opportunity from an offensive standpoint she's ever had.
Sydney McKinney lays down the bunt on the first pitch to reach for Wichita State. Let's check in with Phil in the studio.
Thanks, Courtney. And we're going to check in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Sierra Bryan on the first pitch of the game. A woman who hit a solo homer against LSU yesterday goes yard to open Game 7. That game over on the app.
Got a couple of regions playing 2 games today. Kentucky had to do the same thing. They were able to get a little revenge, beat Notre Dame a couple times. Wichita State would have to win twice today to advance to their first Super.
I'm just going to love this time of year, and we're seeing such incredible competition. You know, our region has been known for the offense, but there's been some incredible pitching performances across the country. We've seen some underdogs come through and play fantastic. James Madison making it to the Supers this season. Arizona State get upset, Tennessee get upset. It's just incredible to see the parity and the growth in our sport, and it's so exciting to watch, and you can't help but love to be a fan of softball right now.
And there's been so many good games. Florida, Elizabeth Hightower threw a no-hitter against USF. Strikeout for Nicole May.
This is a really nice job by May. After getting the base hit to McKinney, you come back and you strike out Barnard. A little low pitch right here. Just getting the swing and miss. And you're hoping for Oklahoma that somebody steps up and is able to close the door here. You've gotten a 4-run lead. You've got huge production from your offense. This is where you finish, and this is where you show your strength, you show your depth in the circle, and your ability to win ball games as you move from regionals to super regionals and potentially to the Women's College World Series. Kind of love that pitch right here. May pulling the string. Look at the rotation on that ball. Change up, gets Peregrine way out in front. Let's not forget, Peregrine is an extremely dangerous home run hitter. Had a home run in Game 1 versus Oklahoma in this region.
Well, she's had 3 home runs in the regional. 5 for 10, hitting .500. She walked first time up in the first inning. Through the 5-6 hole out to left. Madison Peregrine finding a way to get it done. 2 on.
And we saw a huge response from Oklahoma, and I think you can expect the same out of Wichita State. This is teams that just understand that their offense is really going to get them there. It's going to be able to win them ball games, so you can't let some big-time innings scare you. Oklahoma clearly did not. Wichita State trying to prove.
And I think you have a dangerous hitter coming up right here in Neely Herring. She struggled early in this regional, but then went 4 for 4 last night against Texas A&M. And Christy Bredbender told us she plays so well in the postseason and against teams from Oklahoma. That's her home state. She elevates her game.
It's another really nice pitch right there from May. A little off speed up in the zone. You can tell Herring was sitting on something a little bit higher velocity, and Nicole May just took off enough to mix it up.
Second strikeout in this inning for Nicole May.
May going upstairs twice on Herring. Really nice recovery after giving up the base hit to Paragon. Beautiful rise ball, ton of snap, ton of movement. Starts at the chest, ends up more at the shoulders and eyes. And she worked the ladder really well, set her up with a lower rise on the previous pitch, works up a little higher on the next.
This is Bailey Nickerson. Nicole May in the circle. She's the third pitcher that we've seen from Oklahoma today. Olivia Raines got the start, came in with only 17 1/3 innings pitched this season. Then they went to Alana Thede, who had 10 innings pitched, and now to May, who has handled Wichita State very well.
Yeah, I think Patty Gasso saw an opportunity to try to get some experience, some postseason experience to some of her younger pitchers. But when push comes to shove, there becomes a point where you can't mess around. You got to go with your strongest. May definitely being one of the strongest amongst Shannon Sale and G. Juarez as well. I think the biggest key that you learn when you play this game is crazy things can happen. If you waste your time throwing some pitchers that aren't ready to be in the circle in postseason play, that's when some teams that are the underdog can surprise you and scare you. The good news is this Oklahoma team has a huge cushion, and that's their offense, averaging over 11 runs per game.
Yeah, what a safety net for Oklahoma to have that in your back pocket. Nickerson over the fence, but foul.
And the other huge safety net we saw was Quinn and Norman. This crowd got into it. It's been electric. We've got full capacity stadiums now. That's a difference maker, and that's why you work so hard in the regular season to get a strong enough resume so you have the potential to host not one but 2 weekends in regionals and super regionals.
Yeah, Oklahoma wins. They're hosting again next week. Get the winner of the Seattle Regional. Walk to Nickerson. So Wichita State has the bases loaded right now for Riley Buck. She hit 2 home runs in the same game. And it was against Oklahoma.
Yeah, Riley Buck on Saturday blasted 2 big-time home runs, one off of Shannon Sale, and then the other one off of G. Juarez in the circle. So she crushed both of these pitchers, got elevated rise balls, one from the left-handed batter's box, one from a lefty, one from a righty, and she crushed both of them.
And she has tremendous power and is such a big part of this defense, too. She's the one that's always out there talking, plays on the hot corner. Coach told us sometimes in practice they have to tell her, you aren't allowed to talk because I need some other people to step up.
I love a good leader out there, somebody that's vocal, somebody that commands the infield and their team, but you need more than just one person to do that, and it was a huge focus to say, hey, we got to let somebody else talk because you're not going to be here forever, and we got to have somebody else that's going to be the leader defensively.
Nicole May behind, 2-1. Back at May. And she fields her position well. To advance because Michigan booted them to the elimination portion of the bracket yesterday.
It's going to be a good day in Seattle. I'm excited to see Gabby playing and how she rebounds and how the offense deals with Alex Storako and Megan Bobian, 2 great pitchers from Michigan.
Michigan winning the Big Ten, of course, but We anticipate we'll see Gabby playing for Washington. This is what she did Saturday against Michigan. She gave up 2 home runs. Before that, she had pitched 33 1/3 scoreless innings in her regional career.
Gabby Plain is just a phenomenal pitcher. Has one of the filthiest drop balls in the game. And to get a little help from her offense in games 2 and 3 potentially against Michigan. A lot of pressure on Gabby Plain in the circle.
And that game you'll be able to see, of course, on the ESPN app. All of the games streaming live. Got the 7 innings live coverage too, so you can jump around to the most exciting moments of each game. All on the ESPN app. Well, Caitlin Bingham got the nod for Bailey Lang in the 2nd inning as Oklahoma batted around. All 8 of their runs came in that 2nd inning. And a strikeout for Caitlin Bingham. Phil's holding it down in the studio. What you got for us?
Got a couple things for you, Courtney. First, in the Lexington region, Notre Dame beat up on Kentucky earlier in this pool, but Game 7, Autumn Humes, who pitched a complete game to force a Game 7, shuts the door. Kentucky advances to face Bama in Supers. And we'll stay in SEC country over in Baton Rouge. Game 7, Georgia Clark back up the middle. Kendra Lamb, the pitcher, can't get a hand on it. 2-run single. The Bayou Bengals lead Louisiana over on ESPNU.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Yeah, how impressive was Kentucky after being run-ruled as a seeded team by Notre Dame, and then to come back and win 2 today?
Really impressed with the performance from Kentucky. They're another offense that's one to look out for here in the postseason, led by Kayla Kowalik, one of the best hitters in the entire country, a triple threat. You know, for most of the year, she was batting above 500.
Yeah, she can hit for power, bunt, and slap, and she's a catcher, and I love it.
It's fun to watch.
Jocelyn Allo is to a diving Sydney McKinney. Throw not in time.
A beautiful effort right here by Sydney McKinney. It's a ball in the 5-6 hole. Nice dive to be able to pick this up. Just doesn't have quite the arm strength to get that all the way over there. Does her best from her knees. Jocelyn Allo can run it pretty good down the line, though, picking up a base hit.
So Allo on first for Kinsey Hansen. Jocelyn Allo has reached every time. 2 singles and a walk in this game. Kinsey Hansen had an RBI single last time.
Corey, we talked about Kinsey Hansen and just how disrespected she felt when she wasn't on an all Big 12 team and how she felt like she should have been there. And she backed up that talk by walking the walk at the tournament, hitting 5 home runs.
Dug in the dirt for that one and will connect. Allo goes to third, runners on the corner. She's continuing to back it up. She was the Big 12 tournament most outstanding player.
And Patty Gasso talked to us about her. You know, some players, you need to keep your blinders on, but Kinsey Hansen, not her. She wanted the haters to fuel her fire. It worked so well for her, and you can see it coming through clutch, not only in the Big 12 tournament, but right here in this regional, popping a ball a little bit opposite field to push Jocelyn Allo over to third.
Just one out with runners on the corners now for Jada Coleman. First pitch, Hecker to Hecker. Allo scores.
think what's scary about this Sooners team is we've seen them do a really good job with situational hitting, making good adjustments. Jada Coleman shows that. Just a nice, simple ground ball to second base with the infield a little bit back, picks up an easy run.
Off-speed pitch will be the first pitch strike to Grace Lyons, who batted twice in the second. The second time she had an RBI double. She's got Hansen in scoring position. Well, Grace Lyons has been an outstanding player in her Oklahoma career, the defensive player of the year. Actually started out playing a little baseball. How cool is that? Made the transition over to softball, playing for the #1 team in this tournament.
She is a phenomenal shortstop. She's got beautiful range. She's so smooth, makes really good plays.
And can swing a really big bat. Grace Lyons puts a home run in this game. Over the fence she goes for her 13th long ball.
This right here from Grace Lyons is how you sit on an off-speed pitch. Really, really pretty swing. Her timing is perfect on this pitch. You can see the rotation, but it's left bell high. It's up in the zone. It's something that she can crush in her wheelhouse. All she's got to do is time it up perfectly. And look at that. Has a really great extension. Her arms are so strong to finish through the ball. And Oklahoma, just another couple up on the board.
First time we've had a home run in this game. It comes off the bat of Grace Lyons. 18 home runs have been hit in this Norman Regional. That's more than anywhere else. Pecker with the grab for out number 3. Oklahoma is able to score 3 more times in the top of the 3rd.
Expect to see the same close matchups here on Regional Sunday.
We have the opposite of a pitcher's duel here in Norman. It has been all about the hits.
It has been 11-4. And we
This game started with all the momentum shifting towards Wichita State's way. They came out, they saw a pitcher in the circle they didn't expect in Olivia Raines, and they ate her and Beatty up, scoring 4 runs and batted all the way through the lineup.
Yeah, the offense came out ready to go, and you got to give credit to Nicole May and the offense for Oklahoma for taking all of that momentum away. I thought Nicole May did a nice job with the bases loaded in the last inning to get out of a jam, induce an easy ground ball. Oklahoma is the #1 team in this country. They've proven it all season long with only 2 losses. They're putting up just monster numbers in the statistical categories, from home runs to batting average to fielding percentage.
Warren Mills out of here. Mills sends it over the fence for the 11th time this season.
We talked about the statistical numbers from Oklahoma. Wichita State has some pretty crazy statistics as well, and that being in the home run category. Mills going upstairs, rise ball, gets on plane with this pitch and just flies it all the way out to right field, high and deep. Put a run on the board for the Shockers and try and give them something back, some kind of positive energy to help them keep battling in this ball game.
That's the 8th home run for Wichita State in the regional. They have hit 102 now on the season. Look, we knew Lauren Mills could belt it because she has a single game record, 3 home run in 1 game. That was against Lamar earlier this year, and 2 of those came in the same inning. Kaylee Hecker, easy play for Grace Lyons to make. There's Bailey Urbon. Struck out in the first inning. She was the first batter Nicole May faced. 2 down as it goes right back to May. Top of the order, Sydney McKinney. We've seen how aggressive she is. Anything you change as a pitcher when you're facing somebody like her who's going to attack early in the count?
To be honest, I might try and work a little bit out of the zone early.
Takes the first pitch. Out of here.
I think what's going to be interesting to see as we move forward in this game, wouldn't be shocked if we saw G. Juarez or Shannon Sale make their way to try and close out this ball game.
Mackenzie Donahue will take a big cut at the first pitch from Caitlin Bingham. Oklahoma scored 8 runs in the second to take the lead and then followed it up with 3 runs in the third. Pops up off the foot of McKinney, so Donahue aboard. Donahue will get the single. And next up is Shanna Johns. Walked the last time she was up, but remember the pitch before that, ball 4, she sent out of the park but in foul territory.
Shannon John's another one in this lineup that will hack at it. I mean, she's got a big swing, tons of power, tons of pop. One of those players that really gets all of their body, all of their energy into their swing. So when she does make contact, solid bat on ball contact, it's going to go a long way.
Jana Johns into the glove of Bailey Urbon. Back to the studio with Phil.
Hey, Courtney. I told you Kentucky advanced to face Bama at Supers. Here's how the Tide got there. Montana Fouts against Clemson. 16 Ks yesterday, 12 today. A ground out is comparative improvement. Bama wins 5-0.
And Phil, Montana Fouts has looked so good. I mean, what a luxury to have her in your arsenal if you're Alabama. John's going. Safe. Excuse me, that's Donahue.
I like the aggressiveness here from Donahue. It's a really nice jump, really nice slide to the backside of the base. And that's the slide that gets the safe call, because it's a pretty decent throw by Paragon behind the plate.
Well, Nicole Mendez loves it when there's a runner in scoring position. Already has a couple of RBI tonight off of a single in the second. Had 7 RBI in the opening game of this tournament for Oklahoma against Morgan State. That's a record. She's had some big swings in her career too. Remember back in 2019, Oklahoma made the Women's College World Series. She had the game-winning RBI triple in their opener against Alabama. Bingham dropped it. Mendez slides back to first. Both runners safe on the corners.
This is a nice bunt here by Mendez. It's got a little bit of juice on it. Comes off the bat pretty spinny, and that's what allows her to reach first safely. And this is where the Shockers have really hurt themselves today. Haven't played clean defense, have found themselves giving up way too many free passes. I think this is a different ball game. It's a much closer ball game if you limit some of the walks and you limit some of the errors. But that's the kind of pressure that Oklahoma puts on you and some of the best teams in the country put on you all the time, is you have to play perfect to beat us. And that's daunting.
And just like that, Nicole Mendez is over at second. Runners on second and third for the top of the order, Tiare Jennings. Tiare Jennings putting up crazy numbers in her very first season of college softball. Because she can swing a pretty hefty bat. A 3-run homer for Tiare Jennings. That one hurts if you're Wichita.
You know, we saw 2 uncharacteristic strikeouts earlier in the ball game from Tiare Jennings, but for her to keep her composure, to stay mature, to not let those 2 strikeouts phase her, and to come back with a big-time home run, to put the run rule in effect for the Sooners, is why she's hitting the leadoff spot. It's why she's leading this offense in batting average, and she's right up there with Jocelyn Allo in home run production. She is mature and only a freshman. Circle her name. Remember Tiare Jennings, because you're going to be watching her for the next 3 years after this season and seeing big things from that young star.
Yeah, Lauren Chamberlain loves it, and the numbers that she has been putting up are very similar. If you take a look at the freshman seasons for Tiare Jennings, you compare that to Jocelyn Allo and Lauren Chamberlain. I mean, the numbers are very similar, and these are 2 of the greats. Look at their freshman numbers compared to where Tiare is.
Yeah, and Tiare, if they keep winning, they're going to have a few games left, and she's going to be able to climb and keep chipping away at that home run number right there. And you can see with the strength that she has, her natural ability to hit the ball, and to see it so consistently, hitting .491 as a freshman. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and that's those numbers coming into today, so you can tack on that home run that she just hit, chasing that record that Lauren Chamberlain set with 30 home runs in her freshman season.
Lauren Chamberlain, one of the greatest hitters of all time in our game. And I'm not going to lie to you, that Tiare Jennings batting average makes Lauren Chamberlain's 350 look not very good. But are you kidding me? 350 with 30 home runs? That's unreal. That's a great year. Tiare Jennings, just unbelievable. And really in this region, the Oklahoma Sooners have been unbelievable. 40 runs scored in 3 games. That is a ton. And they're matching what they did back in 2013, which, by the way, was Lauren Chamberlain and the year that the Sooners won a national championship. Experience, really used to coming in relief for the Shockers. She's going to have a tough task. But the good news is, bases are clear. She's got a fresh start. She's just got to figure out a way to get Jocelyn Allo out.
Yeah, and Allo, not only is she a finalist, a top 3 finalist for National Player of the Year, she's reached every time up at the plate today. Jocelyn Allo's got family in the stands cheering her on. Grandma Anita doesn't miss it. Oklahoma started 1 for 3. They were trailing in this game 4-0. That was their largest deficit of the season. Didn't flinch. Since then, 11 for 19 with 14 runs scored.
Just think about that, kind of the old saying is you wake a sleeping giant. That's what it felt like for Oklahoma. Even in the first inning, they got caught into a double play on a line out by Jada Coleman. Wichita State got out of the inning pretty quickly, but they've been on it. They've been on this pitching staff all day long. And you knew they were going to score runs. They're down 4-0. That doesn't faze them, especially in the first inning. It was early in the ball game. But to be able to come back in the way they did by putting up an 8 spot is impressive.
It's a statement for sure.
And it's been really interesting this season because we've had so many discussions about Oklahoma. Are their numbers that good? Is this team that good? Because they just have played a lighter strength of schedule than some of the teams that we're seeing in the top 10, top 16 here in the NCAA tournament.
Two away. Well, tonight's Sunday Night Baseball game is a series finale between the rival Cubs and the Cardinals. Coverage begins after our game here on ESPN and the ESPN app with Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown. Courtney Lyle and Caleb Rowe with you from the Norman Regional. Oklahoma just needs 1 win and they are moving on to Supers. It would be their 11th straight Super Regional, their 14th total appearance. Wichita State's got to climb back and win this game and another game against Oklahoma to advance. Here's Kinsey Hansen. Kinsey Hansen, one of 5 Oklahoma Sooners with 2 hits today. Regional final here in Norman, Oklahoma on top of Wichita State, 14-5, a win for the Sooners. They move on to Super Regionals, and we're joined now by Oklahoma head coach Patty Gasso. And coach, what went into the decision to start Olivia Raines in this game?
You know, she's got good stuff. She can mix speeds, can keep the ball down. We knew that it would be a quick pull. There were 2 pitchers we wanted to see if they could be effective. We knew it would be a quick pull. And our team knew what we were doing as well, so the hitters knew that they needed to come up with some offensive firepower to help us if we, took that risk. 4 runs is something, and the first thing I knew we could come back from. So it was worth the risk to see how it might work for us.
Coach, what is it about your team that they're down 4 runs in the first inning that just doesn't make them panic and keeps them, I mean, it's 14-5 now.
Yeah, we've been here before and got a lot of experience on this team. A lot of power. They very confident. I wouldn't say cocky, but pretty confident in their abilities. And it just happens really fast. So they know as long as they are swinging at good pitches, we could turn a base on ball into a 2-run bomb. We could turn a base hit, a base on ball into a 3-run. So any way you can get on, that's what we're trying to do here.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. I would say things changed pretty quickly. They went into the second inning trailing by 4. They left the second inning ahead by 4.
Yeah, things change really quickly. And you have to know, Patty Yasso has so much confidence in her team. You heard her right there, trying things, mixing things up, seeing if somebody will rise to the occasion from some of the other pitchers in her staff. And the reason that you're able to do that is because of the offensive support that you have on this team, and gives you the freedom to take some chances, like she said. And for most teams, that's not an option. So I think that's where you really see the value of producing runs.
Barnard flies out to right. And, you know, she said she talked to the team about it, that the bats were going to have to be ready. It wasn't like they went out in this game and got caught off guard. They knew that coming into the game that they were going to have to get some hits to help out their pitching staff.
And I like that mature conversation, and I feel like Patty Yasso can communicate with her team that way because of the maturity of this offense, and say, hey, I'm going to call upon you. We're going to try some things today. We're going to get out of our box of starting G or Shannon Sale, and we need you to step up if it doesn't work out for us. And guess what? They responded, and they did.
Wichita State still has time in this game. They'll have a couple more at bats, the bottom of the 5th too. The Shockers are the home team in this game. Madison Perrigan would be a great one to get things going. She has a walk and a single today. Perrigan's got some fans in the stands. They may be a little bit younger. Her brothers, Grayson and Jackson, they're 5 and 6 years old. There they are. You see them with the blonde hair. Got a little snack. They are huge softball fans. We were told that Grayson was singing softball chants just like they do in the dugout in the car on the way to the stadium. And hey, big sister is going to get something going. Madison Perrigan reaches.
Perrigan's putting together a really nice day. It's her second hit of the day, but it's the 3rd time that she's made it aboard. Had a walk in the 1st inning. And her little brother's loving it, watching her, happy to get to see their big sister go out and play on a big stage and do extremely well here in regionals.
And Perrigan has been fantastic. She told us her parents got her into softball because she had way too much energy. She tried soccer, just wasn't her thing. Liked softball a lot more. She's on for Neely Herring. Herring was hit by a pitch in the 1st, struck out in the 2nd.
Neely Herring really struggled with the up pitch earlier in this ball game. Get something a little bit more in her wheelhouse, down more at the knees. That makes her hit this ball perfectly. That's right in her wheelhouse. That's the pitch that she's looking for, and big blast. This is a Wichita State team you just can't fall asleep on. They're so strong, and she'll take the high chew coming around 3rd.
Yeah, if you haven't watched Wichita State, you hit a home run, you get a high chew, it's a piece of candy. Coach Brett Benner forgot him in her pocket yesterday, but she's got him ready to go today.
They've given out a lot of high chews this season, Courtney. 103 home runs on the season. And it's so tough because you look at this Wichita State team and you're like, wow, their power numbers. And unfortunately, they just don't even come close to Oklahoma's. I mean, they come close, but just the all-around package of both of these teams, they're just two powerhouse teams. And you can see Oklahoma just has a little bit of an advantage in the average category. They do better with walks and strikes. But this Wichita State team is fun to watch as well.
Yeah, these are the top 2 home run hitting teams in the nation, and they both have 2 long balls today. We've had 20 home runs in the regional. Back to the studio with Phil.
Thanks, Courtney. Let's get you out to LSU. LSU and Louisiana both trying to punch their tickets to the Super Regional round. Taylor Pleasance punches this one to right center. Solo shot. It's a winner-take-all. Her 12th of the year gives the Tigers a 3-1 lead on ESPNU in the fourth.
Also, thanks for the update. We'll keep an eye on that. So many games, all of them streaming live on the ESPN app. LSU played a super tough schedule. That is a well-tested team.
They played one of the toughest schedules, I think, since 2007.
Wow. Off of Colmay's glove. That will give Riley Buck time to reach. Wichita State just keeps it going and going. That brings up Lauren Mills. She had a home run in the 3rd.
Mills took an inside rise ball out of the park. I think she's going to be expecting to see something different in this at-bat. Try and sit on a different pitch, maybe more, a little bit off speed, maybe something on the outside corner.
Yeah, it was a pretty shot in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, May brought it in her wheelhouse, tried to get up in our hands, but Mills did such a good job of keeping her swing really, really compact, finding a way to keep the barrel inside of the ball and get that one fair and hit far.
And look, she's got power numbers, not just on the softball field. I'm talking about power lifting. She is a 2-time state champion in power lifting. This is just incredible.
My body hurts just looking at that, Courtney. I mean, she is bringing up a ton of weight off the ground. Really, really strong.
405 pounds on that right there.
I love how inspiring that is for her teammates to watch, too. They're getting fired up for her.
I mean, you talk about being able to turn on a ball with that kind of power. Wow.
And here's the difference between May's last 2 rise balls compared to the one that we saw Mills hit out of the park. Those are at her eyes. They're way out of the zone. They're ones that you really can't get your ball, your barrel to.
Nicole May gets her to swing.
UCLA and Oklahoma have just felt like they've been on collision course all season long. We've heard so much about Rachel Garcia and the incredible offense that the Bruins have to match up once again with the Oklahoma Sooners, who from the majority of the season were undefeated. It wasn't until they ran into Georgia in a midweek ball game that they got their first loss. So these two teams, again, #1 and #2 in the country right now, just trying to fight their way back to Oklahoma to get a chance of a rematch of each other.
How fun would that be? UCLA is going to play Minnesota. The game should start any moment now. Oh, and Jada Coleman has to leap out of the way. That one was coming towards her face. Yeah, it started to rain here in Norman. We had some rain most of the morning. It stopped about an hour before first pitch. Oh yeah, no chance at getting that to beat Coleman out to first. The hops were perfect. Jada Coleman's just an athlete, too. She came in, she told Patty Gasso, I'm going to be the first left-handed shortstop in college softball. And Coach Gasso said, maybe we should do what's best for the team.
I love the thought in her wanting to do it all. And I think Patty Gasso's response was, you know, we just need to do what's best for the team. We'll see. But Jada Coleman was adamant, I want to play at shortstop at some point. But, you know, the other thing that's great about Jada Coleman is she just showed you her versatility, her ability to slap. We haven't seen her do much of that this weekend, but she can also hit the long ball. She can hit gap-to-gap power. And you're going to see it right here. She's aggressive on the bases. She's got a really good instinct. She's going to take her chances when she sees the opportunity to snag an extra base here or there, to tag up on a questionable play that might be a close play.
And she's going right there. Oh, they got her. She couldn't get her hand over to the bag, and Sydney McKinney applied the tag.
Jada Coleman has a really great effort here, trying to slide around the tag. And we've seen her do that earlier in this regional. Well, she'll sweep her body onto her right side. But the problem is her hand comes off of the base, and Sydney McKinney is able to tag her hand while she's not touching second. Really, really great effort, but that's the challenge of when you do try and do that slide. As beautiful as it is, and as creative as it is, you run the risk of potentially pulling that hand because of how much of momentum is peeling away from the base at that point.
She is their leader in stolen bases with 19 on the year. The Grace Lions has a full count now with nobody on here in the top of the fifth.
It's important to note too, Jada Coleman being aggressive on the base path. That base runner is important though, because Oklahoma has a 7-run lead. You always want to try and shorten the game when possible. It's a big out because you keep a runner out of scoring position, which would have been the 8 run of that run rule opportunity.
Pops up to Buck. Now, Oklahoma is the visiting team in this game, so we will play the bottom of the inning no matter what. But yeah, you're keeping an eye on that because it's a long postseason.
It's a really long postseason. You have the opportunity to keep arms fresh. Maybe you don't have to throw in one of your other pitchers if you're Oklahoma. And more importantly, you know, Wichita State scored 7 runs in this ball game. We've seen their power potential, their ability to score runs in bunches. When you have an opportunity to close the door in postseason play, it's really important that you do, because Again, I think about Wichita State too. Their season's on the line. They have a lot of incentive to go out there and play hard, make some things happen.
Lindsay Elam up at the plate right now for Oklahoma. Didn't score in the first inning, but they have scored every inning since. Bailey Lane got the start for Wichita State. This is Aaron McDonald, the third pitcher to go up against the Sooners today. No time for McKinney to make the throw. And Lindsay Elam is on. And you talked about it, Kayla. This is important to bring her around so Oklahoma can have that chance at ending the game early.
Yeah, this is a nice job. Oklahoma's been wearing out that 5-6 hole, been really good at being able to either hit it opposite field into the gap or pull it into that gap. Making Sydney McKinney work really hard to make some long throws. She just hasn't been able to quite get that play off in the 5-6 hole.
Mackenzie Donahue, 2 for 2 with a walk. Couple runs scored. The catch is made in foul territory.
Play at the college level, go watch the best.
Do you ever remember doing that, watching some college softball before as you were coming up?
No, absolutely. When it was on TV, rarely, if not like it is today. I mean, these young kids are spoiled with how much softball we got on today and how often you can watch this game. But whenever it was on, I put on the World Series, dreamt about putting on that uniform one day and being in Oklahoma City and playing for a national championship.
And you did just that.
I think one of the coolest parts about Patty Gasso and what she said to us before this regional tournament was how much her team loved playing this game. So I look at those kids in the stands and how excited they are to be able to watch the Sooners play, to watch college softball. I think you can see out of both of these teams their passion for our sport. And you gotta love the grind and making big plays and seeing big plays like that. And, you know, we talk about Oklahoma loving softball. Well, they love practice and they love some defense right here. And Grace Lyons does a beautiful job of getting in the hole, but pivoting off of her back foot to get momentum, to plant it in the ground and be able to throw a laser across the infield for an easy out.
Yeah, defense has been a pride point for them, just like their offense has. And there's been improvement all over the field defensively for Oklahoma. Patty Gasso was very proud of that. She said the difference now is everyone has a strong arm. They're very efficient, and the range and athleticism in the infield is much better. They're fast and strong on defense.
And they have 0 errors coming into the weekend, and that plays such a huge factor. You know you're going to play lockdown defense. And Coach Gasso talked about how much the offense supports the pitching staff and how that they can take some chances with putting in new pitchers and trying something different. Well, the defense does the same thing for them. When you're coming in the weekend and you've had no errors, you've played lockdown defense behind your pitching staff, what an opportunity for them to know that they can make a mistake and it's okay. The defense is going to have their back.
You know, we talked about Grace Lyons playing some baseball, and she was recruited by one of the best defenders, Damian Easley. He played in the middle infield baseball in the majors. And she has been phenomenal at shortstop for Oklahoma. And she'll make that grab.
Yeah, she's just so smooth, really, really nice mechanics. And it's all about learning from the greats, right? You want to make sure that you pick up these skills from an early age, so when you get to the college level, it's easy. And she got taught by a 17-year-old MLB veteran. It's pretty lucky.
And Patty Gasso loves her at shortstop. Defense on show in that inning. After 5 innings, Oklahoma up by 7. Oklahoma seeking its 11th straight super regional. Wichita State has never been there. Jana Johns leading off this inning for Oklahoma. Scored 8 runs in the second inning. After facing their largest deficit of the season, things changed so quickly, and Oklahoma showing why it's an elite team.
And they've been such a great team for so long, and you have to give credit to Patty Gasso and her coaching staff, JT Gasso, the hitting coach. And they're trying to set records here, and they're going to do it from a regional standpoint. They're also going to set some records throughout this season for some of the numbers that they've put up.
Yeah, 40 runs scored, second most in D1 history in this regional. 1 away from tying the record. They came out Friday in their first game and plated 19 runs against Morgan State.
And we've seen them do that quite a few times this season. And that's the one thing that you have to respect out of a team like Oklahoma. When they play a lesser opponent, they take care of business.
But foul. Man, Jana Johns has done that a couple times. Set one over the fence in foul territory today.
She went way upstairs for that pitch, too. That was a high rise ball. Just not able to keep her barrel inside of it to keep it fair. You can tell she's been so close, a little frustration, but those are some big swings that we've seen out of her, but 2 foul home runs. Don't count for much, and she's still hitless for the day.
She's reached on 2 free passes, a hit by pitch, and a ball, a base on balls.
And you'll absolutely take that. You're on base 2 out of 3 times, so that's not a knock on Johns today. She just happens to be the only one in the Oklahoma lineup not to collect a hit.
Yeah, Oklahoma has 14 runs on 14 hits. Are we surprised Jada Coleman's right at the front of the pack? Getting loose.
No, it was so great being able to talk to her teammates and her head coach. You can tell that she has a very big energy about her, and she brings that passion not only to her everyday life, but when she's on the field, she plays all out all the time, and they love her for that.
Shallow center, and Nickerson runs up. Well, that was something that Patty Gasso had to challenge them with the first time they faced Wichita State yesterday. She pulled them all in and challenged them to bring that energy. Use the crowd to your favor, because remember, Oklahoma went into the bottom of the 5th inning trailing Wichita State 2-1.
Yeah, and I think Coach understands the value of having the crowd, so she has her players They go out, they get out of the dugout, they engage all the fans, whether they're in the stands behind the field or in the outfield. They get them up, they start chants, because they realize how much pressure it puts on opposing pitchers, opposing teams, to just feel the weight of a stadium rooting against you. And when you do that, when you get out there and you try and encourage the fans to cheer with you, it sparks an energy on your team as well. You start getting rowdy, it starts in the dugout, and that bleeds on to your fans. And it makes for some tough atmospheres. I think about some of the best atmospheres around the country. The fans are what make it. It's not the stadiums, it's not who has the nicest stadiums, it's who packs the house and brings the rowdiest fans.
Well, I mean, the same thing with the Women's College World Series. That's what makes Oklahoma City so special, is all the fans packed in there watching the best softball teams in the nation.
I'm so excited to get back there. And Courtney, we haven't seen Oklahoma City since they expanded the stadium. So you're talking about thousands of more seats in the stands to see the best show on dirt. Best show on dirt, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Well, the Big 12 played their tournament there, so you got to see, only on TV though. I mean, it's going to be different in person. Kayla and I will be there along with Jenny Dalton-Hill for the studio side of things. So close. Mendez has been phenomenal this weekend.
She is, and what a gift to have her in the 9th spot for Oklahoma. Someone that has a ton of experience, that is a total veteran, really good approaches at the plate, and she swings out of her shoes. I mean, she gets her body into her swings. She doesn't get cheated at the plate, which I think is so important. Again, 1 through 9, you just can't take a break on anybody.
Quick grab and a throw from Erin McDonald, fielding her position well. Hey, it's time now for tonight's Capital One Player of the Game, Tiare Jennings. What a freshman.
Well, who else? Tiare Jennings, despite the fact that she had 2 strikeouts today, she had 2 of the biggest hits in this ball game. The 3-run home run made the difference in this game. She really put the dagger in what feels like an insurmountable amount of runs for Wichita State to come back on.
And Tiare Jennings, our Capital One Player of the Game. Came in as the leader in average in that leadoff spot. Just continued to be clutch. And Riley Buck will get her. Going to the bottom of the 6th inning against the Wolverines, because they lost yesterday to Michigan 2-1.
Yeah, we've already seen some really big upsets, and it's so crazy to think about. This weekend started with 64 teams, and now we're almost down to the final 16 already. It happened so quickly in regional weekend. And in supers, you get some incredible matchups.
Barnard at the wall. Jada Coleman is right there to grab it. Just inches away. Well, the Women's College World Series is returning to Oklahoma City. The action begins Thursday, June 3rd at noon Eastern, live on ESPN. For more information on the 2021 Women's College World Series, go to ncaa.com, the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. Man, Jada Coleman making that snag out in center field. What a pickup for them. As we mentioned, came in as a shortstop, but has found her home in the outfield. Madison Perrigan. 2 down. Let's go back to Phil in the studio.
Hey guys, how about this from LSU? Amanda Doyle, pop fly. Aaliyah Andrews is on third. It's essentially deep second base. It's deep enough. Aaliyah Andrews scores. LSU with a 7-1 lead on Louisiana. Winner take all, bottom 5 on ESPNU.
Matt, thank you. We appreciate the update. Neely Herring now with 2 away. She had a 2-run home run in the 4th inning. A little momentum for Wichita State.
That rise ball has been Herring's Achilles heel. And I think that's something that May's got to really use to her advantage against a hitter that has a really more of a underswing rather than a level swing.
It's a 2-2 count now. Drops foul. And Janet Johns got out there quickly, too, from 3rd.
Yeah, showing off that speed and athleticism that you talked about, Courtney, on the defense. We've credited the defense, but we'll also give credit to May coming in relief in this game. She's really settled in, really looks comfortable now. And Wichita State hasn't done much since the Neely Herring home run.
Neely Herring. Oh, Jada Coleman, what a safety net in center.
And really not able to sit on any one pitch in her arsenal.
Yeah, Oklahoma trailed by 4. 6 players, though, since then have 2 hits. They've scored 14 runs. And here we are in the top of the 7th inning with Jocelyn Allo leading off. 1 win for Oklahoma, and they move on to Super Regionals. Wichita State's got to complete the comeback in the bottom of the 7th. Oklahoma looking for that 11th straight Super Regional appearance. What do you think for the front runner right now? Jocelyn Allo, Gabby Plain, Rachel Garcia for Player of the Year. I like to put you on the spot.
You know, when I look at their stats, I just think what Jocelyn Allo has been able to do this season with the balance of high average and high home run numbers have been so impressive. And, you know, for me, I'm a hitter, so I always like to go towards the hitters. But you can't ignore the fact that Rachel Garcia is a hitting pitcher. And she does put up phenomenal power numbers. She also is a true ace in the circle. Most people over, has a really low ERA. So I think it's what's more important to you. Do you want somebody that plays both ways and is one of the best time, or do you want someone that's having an incredible season and putting up numbers like we haven't seen in a really long time?
Rachel Garcia already a 2-time National Player of the Year. Jocelyn Allo is walked to start this inning. Back to Matt in the studio.
Thank you, Courtney. For just the 2nd time in program history, Arkansas is off to the Super Regionals. They eliminate Stanford 7-3. Braxton Burnside hit her 25th home run of the season in the win. They'll face either Arizona or Ole Miss in the Supers. Back to you.
How exciting for Courtney Deifel and that Arkansas program. What a turnaround. They have been a fantastic team this year.
Well, to win the SEC for the first time in program history is such an incredible feat, especially after where they came from. You know, 4 or 5 years ago, they were winning 1 conference game a year. And to go from that quickly since Deifel has been there.
Taylor Snow over the wall, a pinch hit home run.
Taylor Snow comes off the bench, nice and fresh, says, I want in on this action. I want to get the home run party going, and wastes absolutely no time. The pitch left right over the middle. I mean, it doesn't get served up any better than that. And she turns on it. Beautiful home run. Makes it look really easy as that drifts out of the park.
It doesn't matter if you start the game or if you come out of the dugout for Oklahoma. You swing a big bat. It's going to make them tough as this tournament goes on. Coleman drops a shot in right. 2 bases for Jada Coleman.
You know, that was something we heard earlier this season. Oklahoma spending too much time leaving their starters in some of the games that were out of control in terms of run differential. But the reality is they have such a deep roster. You get some players off the bench. Like I said, Taylor Snow didn't start tonight. She comes off the bench and hits a home run. The depth of this team is unreal. And that's what you see is inter-team competition makes everyone better. They push each other really hard. And it can be easy on a team like this to have egos because of how many individual accolades there are on this team, and they don't let it get to them. They make it make them better. It pushes them, they communicate, they learn from each other, and that's why you see the #1 next to their name.
Yeah, that communication is so key. Patty Gasso has loved hearing the conversations in her dugout this season. They're on another level.
Yeah, it starts with talent. Obviously, Patty Gasso does an incredible job of recruiting the best of the best to come play in Norman year after year. But they elevate themselves by learning from each other, having quality approaches at the plate. But then when they see something at the plate, when they go really look at their at-bats, they bring it back to the dugout, say, here's what I was planning on, here's what I was sitting on, here's what I learned from the pitcher. And that's why they're right up there as one of the best home run hitting teams of all time.
Oh, Grace Lyons. Over the wall. 2 home runs in this inning. Grace Lyons has done it again in this game.
You know, Grace Lyons doesn't hit all of this ball. She mishits it a little bit, but just her natural power and her extension are what get this ball to barely creep out of the park. And look how close Bailey Nickerson was to robbing that. It was in her glove and barely popped out as it made its way over the center field wall.
Two-run homers here in the top of the 7th inning for Oklahoma. .43 runs scored in 3 games in this regional. That is a new record.
Such an impressive record. And you know what? Looking ahead and getting Oklahoma ready to go for Supers, you know, you got to love this feeling of playing against some really good quality opponents and winning big. That's only going to help them as they go face better pitching down the road in Supers and eventually, potentially, in OKC.
22 home runs hit in this Norman Regional. That's more than any other of the 16 sites for this opening round.
And you know, we thought it was coming. We knew we were going to see a lot. but man, we've been in for a great show. You like home runs, you like swings, this is where you should be.
Oklahoma opened up with a 19-run performance against Morgan State in its first game of the regional. Here they are with 18 on the board. Oklahoma with 10 long balls on the weekend.
They're really working hard to catch Hawaii, who holds the record all time.
They make it look easy. It doesn't look like they have to work that hard sometimes.
Very true.
Grace Lyons knows what it's like to hit long balls. She is the 6th player to have a couple of home runs in the same game in this regional. Just saw her do that. Elam. Oh, Lindsay Elam. Seriously? Back-to-back home runs for Oklahoma.
You know, hitting is so contagious, Courtney. You feel that, you feel the momentum, you see your teammates do it. And this is what's happening, just trickling down throughout the lineup, being able to see their teammates show power, and they do the exact same thing. Elam having a really nice weekend. This is her 3rd home run that we've seen from her, showing off the great power, great pop. And you just look at this team, and they all take really beautiful swings. They all have unique swings, but from a mechanical standpoint, the one thing they do really well is stay consistent to staying on plane, making quality contact to and through the ball. JT Gasso is such a big part of that. Yeah, he's their hitting coach, Patty Gasso's son, and he does so much work with them. And this is a team that not only appreciates the work he does with them, but pushes him. They're in the cages. They want to get better at their craft. They want to communicate. They want to watch film, and they want to continue to get better each and every day that they're out at the field.
So Kayla, everybody's talked about their strength of schedule. What do you think after seeing them through these games through the regional?
Yeah, I mean, I think without a doubt, if you look at the eye test, this without no question, this is the best team in the country. I think the challenge is you look at their schedule, their best opponents have been Wichita State, Oklahoma State. They lost 1 of 3 in that series, and then they beat them again in the Big 12 championship. Texas, they easily handled them, swept them in the regular season, and Georgia. And I look at all of those teams that they've played, and all of those teams are really, really, really excellent hitting teams. Wichita State has a ton of power. Georgia kind of sneaks up with you in the home run game as well. Oklahoma, aggressive offensive team. And then Texas had some really incredible offensive numbers when they played back in April. But what all of those teams are missing is a true knockout dynamite ace. And so I think it's going to be interesting to see when they face a team that can hit and pitch, what's going to happen. I look forward to the meeting eventually, hopefully, of somebody like a Washington or a Michigan that has a good pitching staff, a Rachel Garcia, a Montana Fouts, some of the best pitchers in the country going toe-to-toe with the best offense in the country.
It will either be one of those 2 teams facing most likely this Oklahoma team in Supers. That will be hosted here if Oklahoma wins. This is Grace Green. She's got home run power too. Came in as a pinch hitter in the regular season meeting against Wichita State and had a grand slam. The game between these two teams was so close yesterday. Wichita State got some really outstanding pitching from Bailey Lang. She started this game, but was relieved in the second. And there's back-to-back walks for Erin McDonald. Back to the studio we go.
Over on ESPN2 regional final in Los Angeles, Minnesota must beat UCLA twice. Megan Dre. This ball is beat by Dre. Solo shot, 1-0. Rachel Garcia now on in relief in the circle. 1-0 Minnesota. Courtney.
Ooh, that's an interesting one. But hey, Rachel Garcia coming in. Things can change quickly.
It can change really quickly. Rachel Garcia is one of those players that uses that fire that she has in the circle, and she hits because of that, or she can go hit if she makes a mistake in the circle. Two-way players have such an advantage of helping themselves out and finding ways to either get angry or upset or mad and get fired up in the circle and at the plate. She does it really well for UCLA, so you know that she's going to be ready to go, especially if they're trailing right now.
Hey, we want to let you know at the top of the hour, 7 p.m. Eastern, this game is going to continue over on ESPN News. We will get you out to Sunday Night Baseball for the Cubs and Cardinals on ESPN at the top of the hour. We'll finish up this one on ESPN News. Still no outs with 2 on. Nicole Mendez up at the plate, but Erin McDonald ahead 1-2. Oklahoma has hit 3 home runs in this inning. Finds some room to go to right field. Bases loaded. And you go to the top of the order, Tiare Jennings.
And Tiare Jennings, you know, you look at this opportunity, your team's up 19-7, but something that the Sooners have done really good is they take advantage of their at-bats. They don't waste at-bats. It's easy to lose focus, to not take your at-bat seriously when you're up by this many runs, but this is an opportunity to do some prep moving on to the next round, see some good pitches, to make sure your swing feels good before you play in the Super Regional Tournament. And I got to be really honest with you, Courtney, everybody in this offense should be feeling pretty darn good heading into next weekend.
Yeah, I'd say so. They put up 19 runs in 2 out of their 3 games this weekend. Jennings does have a grand slam on the season. She did that against Iowa State. Already has a 3-run homer tonight and a double. It's a 3-1 count to Tiare Jennings. A walk would send another run across the plate. "20 runs now for Oklahoma. This game's going to continue on ESPN News. Right now, let's send it out to Sunday Night Baseball for the Cubs and Cardinals here on ESPN. Riley Boone at the plate right now. She will bat in Jocelyn Allo's spot as Oklahoma has batted around. No outs, bases loaded, a run just walked in. two. There are no weaknesses in this lineup for Oklahoma. 4 home runs in this inning.
Unbelievable. Again, we talked about the depth on the bench. Boone proves that Oklahoma is strong 1 through 9 and beyond. Up in the zone, attacks this pitch. And her teammates are so fired up for her. This is an opportunity that she doesn't get very often. She gets in a few times throughout the season, but gets an opportunity with the bases loaded in a postseason experience. It comes through big time. And this is just one of those moments, really, you can't stop the Sooners right now. For Wichita State, there's really nothing you can do. They don't have another pitcher that they can go to.
4 home runs in this inning. Back to Taylon Snow, who had the first one in the 7th. It was a 2-run shot. This is the 8th time this season that Oklahoma has hit 3 or more home runs in 1 inning. And that's just the first out here in the top of the 7th. Oklahoma has scored 10 runs in the top half of this inning. There's Jada Coleman, had a double earlier on in the 7th.
We've talked so much about Oklahoma, and obviously you can't help it, but you got to give credit to Wichita State and their ability to get to this point in the regional, to have one of the best seasons in school history, if not the best season in school history. Show us some fireworks with the long ball, and to come out fighting in Game 1 against the Sooners. But unfortunately, this offense for the Sooners just overpowered the Wichita State pitching, who ran out of gas, especially after playing 2 games yesterday. Went late into the evening. But there just comes a time where you need that endurance, you need the depth on your roster, and Oklahoma's proved that they have that. I mean, we haven't even seen Shannon Sale or G. Juarez today. That's, you know, another thought that we have to process.
Yeah, no kidding. That's a great point. Oklahoma has set all kinds of records in this regional, and it started out with 19 runs on Friday. They've scored 24 runs today, 50 runs in this regional. Both of those are D1 records. And there's a walk for Coleman.
Number 3, Grace London.
Grace Lyons back up, had the 2-run homer earlier on in the inning. Well, Oklahoma is going to get the winner of Washington and Michigan. That game coming up at 8 Eastern on ESPN2. Washington is the seeded team, the 16th seed, but they've got to beat Michigan twice, and they're going to run into some really good pitching, as we've talked about. That's going to be a super regional to watch. It won't be easy for Oklahoma.
No, without a doubt. And, you know, Washington, to me, has something to prove. They were very upset after their seeding of the 16, and I'm not saying that was the correct seeding for them at all, but they were upset, and the best way to back up being a little frustrated with where you place is to go out and win. And they lost to Michigan in game 2 of their regional. So they have a lot to prove today if they want that respect, if they want the country to know that we didn't deserve this 16 seed. They better go out and play a lot better today than they did yesterday.
Yeah, that was just a 2-1 decision. All those runs scored on home runs in that game for both teams. Oh, fancy flip of the glove from Kaylee Hecker, the American Defensive Player of the Year.
Kaylee Hecker is such a bright spot for this Wichita State team. She goes backhand, glove flip. She is so smooth. When we heard from Coach this morning, she just has this uncanny ability to react, to stay soft with her hands, to be able to make incredible plays, show off the range. And we've talked a lot about Wichita State's offense, but really for her, she's been their best defensive player in the league this season. Still fighting here at the end.
Zeta Pooney pinch hitting for Oklahoma. 2 outs. Yeah, Hecker came in with such a great skill set for Wichita State. Has really worked on that, one of those seniors for this group that has helped them get back to their 2nd regional final appearance in program history.
Wichita State's going to get some attention. They're going to be known for being a team that consistently makes the postseason, and I think that's going to make recruiting easier. They do a good job of recruiting in the Midwest, and just trying to grow softball on those non-power 5s is so important. And we've seen that this year. We've seen some really impressive performances in some teams, not only getting to the regional finals, but teams like JMU that are advancing on to supers.
Yeah, how fun is Odyssey Alexander to watch in the circle for JMU?
Oh man, she was lights out all weekend. The numbers she put up, she threw over 350 pitches on the weekend, beat Tennessee, beat Liberty twice. Good stuff. That is so important to the success of your program.
And now Oklahoma 1 out away from a spot in supers. Jana Johns, she was the first one over there.
Shows really good range. Jana Johns and the team just still hustling, trying to make that last out of the ball game finish this incredible weekend for the Sooners.
Two to Lauren Mills. The Sooners are super. They blast their way past Wichita State and will be in their 11th straight Super Regional.
The Oklahoma Sooners so impressive all weekend long. They showed off their offense, which is without a doubt their strength, and they're going to have every other team that's left in the tournament this season looking at them, circling them. They're going to have the target on their back as the team to beat without a doubt. They made a statement this weekend.
Incredible performance for Oklahoma. Wichita State, the road ends here, but what a run it has been for the Shockers out of the American Conference. their second regional final appearance in program history. Oklahoma is a tall task for anyone. An impressive 24 runs scored in this game, a D1 record. They have been impressive all season, explosive this weekend in Norman.
They are such a powerful offense, such an incredible team in 1 through 9. You just can't sleep on anybody in their lineup. They have the opportunity to make a huge run and a push to win a title.
We are joined now by Oklahoma head coach Patty Gasso. What an impressive performance from your team today. 24 runs. What makes this group as a whole so successful?
I just go back to training since August, waiting for these moments. We talk about them a lot. I think the game Friday, or actually Saturday, was really important for us. It was a tough game. We had to go through that. Challenge them today because we came out slow on Saturday, and they really wanted to come out and show themselves a lot better today as they did.
Coach, we've seen the power of your team, but also the power of some of the players coming off of your bench. What is it about this team that makes them so much better? Because it just looks like they push each other and compete so well and have a really good depth.
You just answered the question, really, truly. I mean, Riley Boone has worked her tail off every day and trying to find her way in the lineup. She hits a 3-run, 2-run bomb, and the place goes crazy. And the fans know it as well. So there's a lot of kids here. Kinsey Hansen, I pull her out of the lineup for Taylon Snow. Taylon hits a bomb. It's like it's just a selfless group. They want to play. They don't want me to take them out. You can feel that, but they're selfless and they understand that we've really got to stick together on this because it's really important for matchups and so forth. So really proud of their efforts, but proud of their selflessness going forward.
Coach Gasso, obviously your offense gets a lot of attention, but your defense is so solid too. We saw Jada Coleman make a couple of plays at the wall. Grace Lyons is so fun to watch at shortstop. How much pride do they take in the defensive side of the game?
Oh, we work on it a lot, and we know defense. We've been in a lot of big series where defense has won us a championship or won us a game. So really important for us. We know we really want to be a complete team, and that's what we're searching for, absolutely.
Awesome. Congratulations, Coach Gasso. We will see you in Supers.
Sounds good. Thanks, you guys.
Oklahoma with a whopping 24-7 victory over Wichita State. They are in Super Regionals for the 14th time, 11th straight Super for the Sooners. They will get Washington or Michigan. That game coming up at 8 Eastern over on ESPN2. What a road it has been from the Norman Regional here in Oklahoma. It's been all about the long ball. Oklahoma blasting 4 of them in the last inning of this game alone. The Sooners dominant. They win 24-7. We'll see them in Supers next week.